rolling? Alright, so I'm driving to work, but I'm going to tell you the story of how I sold a shotgun in Arizona. So for the background, my father passed away. He had retired in Arizona, and I was in charge of taking care of his stuff. His house and everything he left behind and stuff like that. And one of the things he told me before he died, he's like, I got a couple guns back there. And my dad wasn't one of those huge gun guys that but he had them, I guess, for self-defense or something like that. I don't know. I guess he hunted when he was a kid. I have no idea. So I'm going through the stuff, and also his background. I am an East Coast liberal, left wing, and so. But that being said, I'm not terrified of guns or anything like that. When I was a teenager, I'm from the part of Connecticut that's pretty rural, and plenty of people around us had guns. We shot rifles in Boy Scouts. It wasn't like a huge deal. I kind of side with Bernie Sanders, who said that guns in the city and guns in the country are completely different. So anyway, it was time for me to do something about the guns. So on my last trip out to Arizona, I rolled up to the police department in a state of fear. Because like I said, I'm not really afraid of guns, but I'm afraid of the law and getting in trouble, right? So I go up to the police station, and I think I parked like right out in front so they could see the car, right? And see I'm not up to anything, get a good view of the license plate in case they have some kind of computer scanning the license plates of everything. Just make sure they know who I am. I'm clean shaven. I'm making this part up. So I get into the police station, and pick up my dad's keys and wallet, and then I said, sir, my dad had informed me that he had some weapons of the gun variety on the premises, and I would like to deal with those in the most expeditious and safe, legal manner possible. And this cop, by the way, this is the part of Arizona that's like up in, let me just make this turn here onto the highway. This is the part of Arizona that's up in the mountains. So you got your Phoenix, which is like your Los Angeles transplants. And then you go up into the mountains for like an hour and a half through desert, seeing absolutely nothing but cactuses and rocks and dust and dirt. And then you have the little tiny town where my dad lived, called Payson. So I'm in the police department in Payson. Like I said, not scared of the guns themselves or the people or anything, but just I want to make sure I get all the laws right. So I think I had my passport with me, I think I had my ID with me, my medical card, various T-passes from international cities, just in case Interpol needs to verify who I am. And I go to the officer, I said, he's got these weapons behind, and I need to take care of them. And the cop just says like, or something like that. Like, yeah, you should take care of him. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so he didn't really get my level of concern. So I say, how can I take care of those in a safe manner? And then he kind of understand where I was coming from, and he says, son, you're in cowboy town here. Why don't you just take him down to the gun store on the corner? I was like, okay. I was like, I don't need any paperwork or signatures or anything. He's like, and that was the end of the discussion. That was it. So I was like, all right, cool. That's a big relief. So, a couple days later, I did all the paperwork and stuff like that for, other stuff in the house and everything like that. And I'm like, all right, it's finally time to take care of these guns, and I'd had a friend working with me on the place, and he didn't want to be anywhere near them. See, he's not like me. He's left, or East Coast, far left, liberal. Well, he's not far left. Anyway, liberal, but he's uncomfortable around the guns, so I didn't do them while I was there. So he takes off. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take care of this errand. And to me, it's pretty much an errand, except, I like to go on YouTube, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to make a video, and it was going to be something called, like, here's how I scare my East Coast liberal buddies, something like that. I was going to show them just how easy it is to sell the gun. But, I don't know. I think I just sort of chickened out or ran out of time or something like that, It was just, I didn't do that. Instead, I'm just recounting the story. I think what freaked me out about it was, like, the idea of taking the camera into the gun store and asking permission, can I film this video here? I think it might be kind of funny and stuff like that. And in retrospect, I'm really, really glad I didn't do that after the experience that I actually did have. So let's talk about that. So the first thing is, it was like Sunday morning, and I was like, I don't got a lot of time. I got to get back to work on the East Coast, and I'm gonna, I'll just go down. Google Maps says they're open at 9. Take care of that. 9:30, go get some breakfast at the airport. Blah 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 blah. So, I go into the closet. I grab the shotgun, and I go into the dresser and I grab the handgun. And I noticed that the handgun has a magazine full of bullets. I know how to remove the magazine, but I don't know really how to do that thing with the chamber, Like I said, I shot guns when I was a teenager, but that was a long time ago. That was mostly rifles, and mostly people showing me how to do them. And also one of my jobs, After work, we'd just go and shoot guns behind the building. I'm gonna protect my employer's name, but you know who you are. Anyway. Hell, it probably wasn't even illegal. But I get down there. Oh yeah, so I'm looking at the guns. I'm like, I don't know, there's a bunch of ammo laying around the closet. I grabbed that. I put it in the SUV that I'd rented, and it was in the back seat, behind the seat, so you cannot see it. Because, I see all these videos online, and this is really serious about cops, like, do you have any weapons in the car, And I'm ready to inform, it's about 0.2 miles from my dad's house to the gun shop on the corner. And, don't want to get stopped and, assassinated or anything in the process. So the guns are tucked out away. I'm ready to say something, and I definitely can't reach them when I'm driving, I think that's like the key distinction. Can you reach the guns while you're driving? Because if you could do that, if someone cuts you off, man, you're liable to just blow them right away, And so I drive down to the store, and they're closed. I'm like, what? Google Maps says they're open, and I'm like, okay, like here's the thing, Noah. You're in Arizona, okay? You're in a tiny town of like 5,000 people. Like, these people don't update their Google Maps businesses, and even if they do, they don't update like the hours and stuff like that. I could probably go online and claim this gun store right now. So, if you're familiar with the monomyth pattern of telling the story, you've just heard the call to action, and that was essentially the refusal of the call, right? It wasn't in standard form, and that I didn't want to go. Well, although you could sort of count some of that, but this is just a meta note. That was sort of like the failure of the adventure and hit the road. So, just for those keeping track. So I had to go back on Monday morning, and that was the day I was supposed to fly out, so everything was in a super hurry. But I went home, I unpacked the guns very carefully, I tucked them away in the closet so they're even more hidden in case an intruder came and attacked me in the home. They would not be able to also get the gun. See, I watch videos, I know what you're supposed to do, right? So Monday morning comes around, I get the guns from their position, put them in the SUV in the exact same spot, tucked away so I can't reach them for when I get that road rage and the 0.2 miles of road between me and this small town. And I roll into the gun store. And this is a place that has a green LED sign outside that says, "Let's go Biden." So that phrase will probably be lost to history, whereas this video won't, because it's an epic video and everyone's going to be watching this for decades. But I didn't know what "Let's go Biden" or let's go Brandon actually meant until I was at the Ham Radio Swap Fest a few days before that. And there I was talking to some real Arizona fellers, and they had shirts and hats and everything. They all said, "Let's go Brandon." And so I asked them, without really betraying who I am, because I just didn't want to get into it. I'm there to unload some ham radio equipment, not change hearts and minds or anything like that. So I inquired very delicately, "Oh yeah, let's go Brandon. I saw that. What does that mean, huh?" And the guy's like, "It means fuck Joe Biden." And then his buddy goes, "Yeah, it means fuck Joe Biden." I was like, huh. And then the initial guy whom I asked said, "Well, their story, where on the news, they had a bunch of people, and they're all protesting, and they're shouting, 'Fuck Joe Biden, fuck Joe Biden.' And the announcer do chicken shit to say what it actually meant. You know what it means?" I'm like, and he says, "It means fuck Joe Biden." So I'm at this gun store, and normally I wouldn't patronize a place like that, call me petty, but you insult the guy that I vote for, big reveal. I'm just gonna do business elsewhere, but I got no choice. I looked up other gun stores, and there are plenty of other places to buy them, but this is the only place who's buying them from me. And I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? Like I said, it's a preference I have. It's not like I'm going to stake out a major operation and never ever patronize a store that has political views that I don't agree with. It's just that, given the chance, I'm going to exercise that chance. I got no choice. So I go down there and I walk in, and at this point, I was thinking, probably all of my self-identification that I've been working up in my mind about myself being this certain East Coast kind of guy is overblown. It's just common everyday thing, not a big deal, whatever. And interestingly, I've found that whenever I sort of exaggerate something like that, and there's an understatement at the same time, where I think it's exaggerated, and then I get in there and it seems understated because it just seems like a simple, boring gun store, simple retail place with the cash register and product everywhere. What always happens is something completely different and surprising. So I'm going to tell you about that. So the previous 14 minutes is just the lead up to this. How does my coffee keep getting rotated? So, and if you see me I got this phone's got the GPS going at the same time. I'm looking at the road, looking at the GPS, and looking at my rotated coffee. Now we're taking an exit. Oh, okay, this isn't. See, I was just at the doctor, and going to work from the doctor's a slightly different route than usual. Anyway, so I walk into the gun store, and everybody drew their guns at me and said, "There's the liberal, he voted against Trump, get him." I'm kidding. Nobody thought anything of me. I was wearing my nice flannel shirt and black jeans, which is kind of like the clothes I'm just most naturally comfortable in. It doesn't really make me look like a futuristic electronic music inventor, but that's how I like to dress for comfort. And once I get successful enough as being a futuristic music electronic instrument inventor, then the tide's going to turn and everybody's going to say, oh, that's what they actually look like. They're not wearing like silver and black and have like gel in their hair and all this stuff. But I digress. It's kind of what I do, kind of what I'm good at. I walk up to the counter, and I talk to the guy. I was just like, hey, yeah, are you buying guns? He's like, oh, yep. And they're having some problems with the printer, so I certainly didn't have his full attention, because him and the other guy were like, trying to diagnose the USB cash register printer thing. So they're doing that. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I got some from my father's estate. And yeah, that's probably a dumb thing to say in terms of negotiation. But like I said, I got so much on my mind. I'm not trying to squeeze every last dollar out of every transaction. It's my duty to sell the items, but I don't have forever to do it. I only get out to Arizona infrequently and stuff like that. So anyway, he's like, well, let's take a look at what you got. And I was like, I have a Mossberg 520 gauge. Felt kind of cool saying that, just because every time someone in the movies when I was a kid growing up talks about guns, they're like 12 gauge. Little did he know I had a loaded 12 gauge, right? Pump action, sawed off. These are other gun words that I know. And so I hand him over the bag, kind of almost delicately, like as if it was like a purse or something. I was like, here you go. And I'm sure that was not a great negotiation tactic either. It's just like, okay, this guy just wants to get rid of the gun, whatever. So I hand it to him, and he opens it up, and he starts looking at it, and then he like slides some of the metal pieces around and goes, it's loaded. And at that point, I expected everybody in the store to just like freeze in place. There was some palpable tension in there, but I think a shotgun shell went flying out of it like wee 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 wee. I think what he's doing is unloading the shell in the chamber. So I told him, I apologize, because I understand you're probably not supposed to carry around guns loaded. Probably not supposed to drive around with guns loaded. I've seen, I don't know where I was, but somewhere I saw signs on stores that say, oh yeah, it's the gun shop near my makerspace. It's like, please do not carry loaded weapons into the shop. So I kind of knew you weren't supposed to do that, but I said, I figured rather than screw around with the thing, I'd rather just do this. He's like, no problem, sir, it's our business. So that was cool. And he really did talk like that. Like, I'm making fun of that, but that's really literally the way that he talked, with this sort of like cheerful growl. So he's looking at it, and then he takes out like a long silver rod. It sort of looks like a tent stake, but it's long, and he sticks it in the barrel, and I wondered if he was like cleaning it or something like that. And he's like, I just gotta measure it. I don't know if that's legal. I was like, oh my God. And so, just when I was like getting comfortable and stuff like that, like I said, that over-exaggeration, exaggeration thing, I find, this darn gun may not even be legal. Like, what's the deal? And he's inserting it into the barrel, and he's apparently measuring it. Now, when I measure stuff, I use like something that's got like ticks on it or whatever, so I see how many inches it is, or how many centimeters, or whatever, how many furlongs it is. And this guy sticks the thing in, and it takes him a while. He like sticks it in, takes it out, sticks it in, and he's like rubbing his beard, and I'm like, okay, what happens if that's illegal? Does like a SWAT team just like break through the sky and just like commandos from ropes in a helicopter, and they start bumping me full of lead? Do they call up the police who said you're in Cowboy Town? Just take it down to the gun store, and then they carry me off and say, son, I am disappointed. I don't know. But I figured I'd just stay cool and just listen to what they have to say. And then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, okay, they saw these things off to make them shorter. As far as I'm concerned, it's in the movies to make them more badass, because having a sawed-off shotgun is more badass. Or maybe it makes them more concealable, or maybe it makes the shot disperse differently. I don't know. I don't spend enough time doing that instead of, reading about digital signal processing and transistor circuits to know the answer. And I'm really confused because, I'm a thinker. I'm just thinking about this stuff. Like, if it's sawed off, as they say, wouldn't you see like some marks on the barrel? Like the whole thing is like black anodized metal or something like that, so it would be silver and shiny in the end. No, if it was sawed off. And I'm like, did somebody saw it off? Was it bought just super short? I don't know. Like, and assuming that he didn't see all that stuff, like I didn't look, I didn't stick my eyeballs down the barrel. I know you're not supposed to do that either. Like, wouldn't the company just like only sell things of a legal length? Or maybe the law's changed. Is that a federal law or a state law? I don't know. All this stuff's going through my mind along with the fear, when suddenly I hear the guy say to this dude behind me. Now, I didn't mention the dude behind me, but when I was going into the store, there was this guy who was younger than me. See, I'm old now. I get to say stuff like that. He's a younger fellow than me, and his eyes were like all red and puffy, like I don't know too much about that marijuana stuff that the kids are injecting, but I've been around stoned people a time or two, and it makes their eyes bright red. And so when I was going into the store, I saw this guy also going into the store, and he was just kind of hanging out on the sidewalk, kind of nervous. And I didn't think anything of it. I had enough on my mind. I can't worry about this pudgy young guy with beet red eyeballs, I'm just trying to do my thing. Now, side note, when I was in a hardware store a few days before that, after I bought my stuff, the woman said to me, hold on, I'm just gonna set up this fan. And she set up like a full size like box fan, just like to blow all the air away. And she's like, that guy smelled like marijuana. And I was like, oh, okay, and she's like, I said, I guess you don't like the smell of marijuana. And she goes, nope, reminds me when I was a teenager, all I did was smoke marijuana with my boyfriend. I was like, okay. So, side note about Arizona marijuana attitudes, I guess. So anyway, the guy with the beet red eyes had made an appearance back in the store, and he was kind of hovering behind me. And the guy was like, I don't know what he was doing, and so the gun store owner pipes up, and at first I thought he was talking to me. It took me a second to realize. He said, excuse me, sir, but you're making me just a little bit uncomfortable. And I realized he was looking past me. So thank God, I didn't want to make the gun store guy uncomfortable for about 6 dozen and a half reasons. And he says the guy, he says, yeah, I'm trying to do a transaction over here. And the stone guy says, oh, I spent a fuckload of money here. I bought like a $1,000 shotgun, and my girlfriend bought all these bullets. I'm always in here. You know me? And then they had like I can't remember exactly what the gun store owner said, but he's like, well, that may be true, but just the same, you're interfering with the transaction. I had a lot of people try and interfere with the transaction, try and, changed the money. I've had people say, I'll give you $25 in that, so I'd like you to step out, or something like that. And then the other guy protested about how much money he'd spent in there. And then it got like tense. I was just like, oh, jeez. You know. And the stone guy's like, yeah, I was just looking at that shotgun, and it's really beautiful, and it's so short and stuff like that. I'm like, how can you tell it's so short? Why is everybody thinking about my short shotgun? You know, that's gonna send me to federal pound me prison, right? So, gosh, you know, they have it out for a little while. And I was honestly very impressed with the way the guy handled it, the gun store owner, because, you know, whether you know about it or not, there's something called like boundaries. It's sort of like a psychological concept. And we have like these psychological, emotional boundaries around us where we talk about where we're comfortable. And some people are really good at asserting their boundaries, and some people are very bad at asserting their boundaries. And it's been a topic of interest of me for a couple of years now. And I realized that this guy was asserting his boundaries by sort of communicating his needs, you know, asking people how to, you know, the person in question, how, you know, to remedy that and stuff like that. And by not getting too flustered about it, he was definitely flustered. Now, whether it was an act or not, I don't know. But eventually they came to some kind of agreement. I'm sort of blanking on what it was. There's just so much going on, especially because, you know, he finally told me, you know, the price for the shotgun, and he's like, it's kind of old. I was like, all right, you know, whatever, I don't really care. Although I was like wondering, how old is it, and, you know, was it heavily used? I mean, that's probably just some thing that he said to, you know, give me a price on it. I don't know. And then he's like, well, I got to take this off in order to get the serial number. And I was like, serial number? Oh my God, I thought the police said this is Cowboy Town. Oh my God, he's got to record the serial number. And I started getting scared. I don't know why I was scared, but I was scared as soon as he said serial number. You know, maybe it's because the Wu-Tang Clan like always scratches the serial number off of guns. I don't know why. And then he's like, I need your license too. I was like, license? Oh my God, I'm gonna be recorded in like a gun transaction along with this serial number? I thought this was Cowboy Town. And you know, the other gun I had, he's like, that's just a throwaway gun, you know? You could probably get like $50, maybe $25 for it. But, you know, it's not the kind of gun I would sell here. So when you sell it, make sure you get the guy's license. I'm just like, the guy's license, like, what all is going on here? Like, you know, I have no idea what is going on. So all I know is he's like, it's gonna take me some time, or I could just, you know, put in a dummy serial number, and then when I get the thing off, I'll write it in. I was like, oh my God, the gun store owner wants to write in a fake serial number, and it's gonna have my Massachusetts license associated with it, and it's gonna be on record in a federal database under a mountain in Utah in a gigantic black cube-shaped building. Yeah, and I didn't even have any coffee that morning yet, so I just kind of like let go. And they were fighting with the printer. He's like, can I give you a paper receipt? I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Give me the paper receipt. Then he hands me a bunch of cash, and I count it, and it's not the right amount. So I recount it, and it was the right amount. And you know, it's just, that's the Let's Go Brandon experience. Glad that's all over. All right, enjoy your scary story about a left coast liberal selling guns and going on record. Peace to Rob and Shalene. This was recorded especially for you guys, because it'd be too long to write that story in a text. Bye-bye.